Dorian Coleman grew up in a quiet urban neighborhood where life wasn't easy, but it was familiar. Raised by his older brother, Kadeem, Dorian learned early on to be independent. Their parents had left when Dorian was still young, leaving Kadeem to take on the responsibility of being both a caregiver and a role model. While Kadeem focused on keeping the family afloat, Dorian developed a fascination with the stories of heroes and villains that dominated his childhood. Dorian was always a curious, energetic kid. He was drawn to the idea of justice and protecting the helpless, even as a child. He admired the local hero, Robert Bennett, known as Luminary, who had become a symbol of hope in their community. But Dorian never imagined that one day he would be on the same path as his idol. Instead, his youth was mostly spent dreaming of a life where he could do something important, all the while struggling to maintain a connection with his brother, who had little patience for his dreams of heroism. Dorian's life took a sudden, dangerous turn during a late-night patrol in his neighborhood, when he witnessed something that would forever change his life. He was just out for a walk when he stumbled across a violent scene. A vampire, preying on an innocent civilian. Dorian, terrified but determined not to let the creature harm anyone, tried to intervene. He found himself outmatched, powerless against a supernatural creature. It was then that fate intervened. Luminary, Robert Bennett, arrived just in time to save him. The local hero, clad in golden light, swiftly defeated the vampire, leaving Dorian with more questions than answers. Robert didn't reveal much, only offering him a brief exchange. Not all battles are fought with fists. Some are fought with your mind and will. You have potential, kid. If you ever need help, you know where to find me. It was then that Dorian realized his life was about to change forever. Months after that life-altering encounter, Dorian began experiencing strange phenomena. His senses started to sharpen beyond anything he had ever known. He could hear conversations from blocks away, see the tiniest movements in his peripheral vision, and feel the subtle shifts in the air like he could predict them. It wasn't just a few isolated incidents. These powers became undeniable. One evening during a sparring match at his local martial arts club, Dorian was knocked out cold during a fight. When he awoke, he found himself not only physically fine, but with an overwhelming sense of clarity. A vision came to him of wings, soaring through the skies with unparalleled freedom, of sharp, powerful talons. It was like an eagle's call, urging him to understand his potential. He could feel the wind moving around him as though he could fly. Through practice and experimentation, Dorian learned he could manifest wings of shadow energy, allowing him to soar through the air like a predator on the hunt. His vision, too, had become enhanced. He could see miles away, sharpen his focus, and even read the emotions of others with an inexplicable clarity. The power was immense, but it also came with an intense burden, one that Dorian couldn't yet fully control. Recognizing the enormity of his newfound abilities, Dorian reached out to Robert Bennett, Luminary. Robert agreed to train him, but only on the condition that Dorian kept his powers a secret. Robert understood the temptation to reveal everything, but he also knew that the world of heroes and villains was a dangerous place. Dorian had to master his skills and learn responsibility, and Robert would be there to guide him. Dorian's training was intense. He spent hours under Robert's tutelage, focusing on control and precision. Luminary taught him everything from basic hand-to-hand combat to advanced aerial tactics. He honed his abilities to fly at incredible speeds, move undetected, and use his empathic vision to read the room, giving him a strategic edge in combat. His wings, formed from shadow energy, became a powerful tool not only for flight but also for defense, as they could shield him or generate gusts of wind strong enough to knock enemies off their feet. Dorian's first major test as a hero came during a catastrophic event in the city. A building was caught in a massive fire and civilians were trapped inside. Luminary was away on another mission, leaving Dorian to act on his own. The pressure was immense, but Dorian knew what he had to do. He swooped in, using his wings to create wind gusts that pushed the smoke away. With his enhanced senses, he located the trapped civilians and carried them to safety, even as the building threatened to collapse around him. It was during this mission that Dorian learned his first true lesson in heroism, that the responsibility to protect others often comes with personal cost. He didn't escape without injury. His wings were singed and he had a few cuts, but he didn't regret his actions. After that event, Dorian's reputation began to grow. He quickly made a name for himself as a street-level hero, precise, swift, and seemingly without fear. However, his true test came in the form of his first major rival, Draconian vampire general Jeremiah. Jeremiah, an ancient and cold-blooded vampire, sought to disrupt the balance of the city with a series of violent attacks. When Dorian confronted him, Jeremiah was both calculating and ruthless. He knew how to exploit Dorian's empathetic nature, using fear and emotional manipulation to try to destabilize him. During their first fight, Dorian was severely injured while trying to protect innocent civilians, leaving him hospitalized. The memory of that fight haunted him. He had failed to prevent Jeremiah from escaping, and the scars from that battle still ached. As Dorian continued his hero's journey, he adopted the moniker the Green Talon, inspired by both his newfound abilities and his connection to the natural world. The green color represented both his link to nature and his determination to protect the world around him. With the help of his mentor, Robert Bennett, Dorian refined his skills, always focusing on learning from his past mistakes. He grew not only as a fighter but as a protector, someone who would never hesitate to fight for those who couldn't fight for themselves. Dorian also formed tight bonds with other young heroes, like Zion Blake, a fellow street-level hero, and struggled with balancing his secret identity with his social life. The Green Talon now patrols the city, protecting it from both supernatural threats and human criminals. He is known as a relentless force for good, striking from the shadows, using his wings to make a silent, deadly approach to crime. His empathetic vision allows him to gauge a situation before engaging, and his hypnotic gaze makes him an even more formidable opponent. He remains humble, never forgetting the lesson that power means nothing without control. Though Dorian struggles with the burden of keeping his identity a secret, especially from his crush Aaliyah Williams, who finds him both mysterious and humorous, he knows the responsibility of being a hero comes with sacrifice. Despite his sarcastic and laid-back personality, deep down he holds an unwavering commitment to protecting the people he loves in his community.